I've got breaking news coming out of Washington, D.C. from the House Oversight Committee that could undo all of Biden's orders and even his pardons. This will be heading to court most likely. AG Pam Bondi gets a death threat with a $45,000 reward. That person has now been pursued and arrested. Lawrence O'Donnell, a newscaster on MSDNC, has a Trump derangement baby fit on live TV, and President Trump gets incredible news from Japan. Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps me out, so thank you so much. If you didn't see my interview from earlier today, go check it out. It was hard to get, and it's an exclusive interview that walks through why we are about to go to war with Venezuela and why it's actually a good thing. All right, turning to a shocking threat against a Trump top official in Minnesota, a 22-year-old Tyler Maxon Avalos has been arrested in St. Paul, Minnesota, after allegedly posting a TikTok video offering $45,000 to anyone who could kill Attorney General Pam Bondi. The post featured Bondi's photo, a sniper scope over the top of it. Wanted, Pam Bondi, reward $45,000, dead or alive, preferably dead. That's what it was captioned. Let me show you what was said over on Fox News.
All right, breaking news, top of the new hour here, and another threat of political violence in America. The FBI making an arrest in a chilling murder-for-hire plot targeting Attorney General Pam Bondi. We are learning brand new details at this hour. Welcome back as America Reports heads into hour two. I'm Sandra Smith in New York.
Scary stuff, Sandra. I'm John Roberts in Washington. The 29-year-old Minnesota man is accused of putting out a $45,000 hit on the attorney general. It all started on TikTok when a post with the bounty started going viral before setting off a swift federal investigation.
And the suspect's rap sheet is long, and his online activity reveals ties to anarchist symbolism and anti-government literature.
Our justice correspondent David Spunt live here in Washington. What else are we learning, David, about the suspect?
Well, John, he is charged with threatening Attorney General Bondi in a TikTok post. According to authorities in this affidavit that we just saw a couple of hours ago, unsealed recently, he allegedly offered a $45,000 bounty. In the post, there's a photo, and this was on TikTok, a photo of the Attorney General with a sniper red dot, and it reads, "Wanted Pam Bondi, reward $45,000, dead or alive, preferably dead." That's a quote. He is in custody. Additionally, his TikTok page had anarchist symbols, according to the affidavit filed. The affidavit reads, quote, "Additionally, the suspect user's TikTok page had a link to an anarchist FAQ book pinned to his page. According to open source research, as well as based on your Defiance training and experience, anarchism is a political philosophy and movement that seeks to abolish all institutions that perpetuate authority, coercion, or hierarchy, primarily targeting the state and capitalism." Now, FBI agents John and Sandra from Detroit, Michigan, received a tip from someone who was on TikTok, noticed the post in their feed, then reported this post. The FBI worked with Google, Comcast, and TikTok to find this guy. Google helped with IP logins, IP locations. They also were able to find his email. Now, according to the affidavit, he has a multi-state criminal history, as you mentioned, including a 2022 felony stalking and domestic assault misdemeanor charge. We reached out to the Justice Department. So far, we're being told no comment.
Now, the FBI launched an investigation into another TikTok user who reported the video. Agents found Avalos had posted anarchist symbolism, anti-government content, and links to books on anarchy. For those unaware, Bondi has played a leading role in Trump's nationwide crackdown, announcing 3,800 arrests in Washington, D.C., and 273 in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, I want to show you MSNBC's Lawrence O'Donnell appears to suffer an on-air psychotic break. He literally has a Trump derangement baby fit over CNN, paying to have an opposition TV host, Scott Jennings. He says, why is CNN eagerly paying Trump supporters to lie every day and every night? Check this out.
And now CNN eagerly pays a Trump supporter to lie on CNN every day and night for Donald Trump. CNN did this during the first Trump presidential campaign and presidency. CNN regularly paid Trump supporters to lie about Trump on CNN, but the CNN regime then realized that was a mistake. And they stopped doing it. They stopped paying for lies. But then CNN got a new head. The head of CNN for the last 3 years, hired by the Trump-supporting owner and operator of CNN, is an Englishman who thinks paying Scott Jennings to lie about Donald Trump is money very well spent. Scott Jennings, who used to be an aide to Senator Mitch McConnell, was not always a rabid, lying Trump supporter. When he first started appearing on television, he was capable of criticizing some of the more extreme Trump positions, but Scott Jennings figured out where the money is and how he could get his own podcast and decided to become the J.D. Vance of CNN. Here's how bad that television is that they make over there. The show that Scott Jennings frequents the most is on opposite this program. And that show, on a good night, gets half of the audience of this show. This program usually has an audience triple the size of the terrible, terrible television that Scott Jennings is delivering on the absurdly degraded version of CNN, presided over by the man who thinks lying for Donald Trump on TV is an honorable pursuit and should be paid for by CNN.
Moving to Washington, D.C., questions continue to mount about President Biden's health. House Oversight Committee James Comer has referred President Biden's doctor, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, to the D.C. Board of Medicine, accusing him of purposely, knowingly, and maliciously covering up Joe Biden's mental decline. James Comer's letter asks the board to investigate whether Dr. O'Connor misled the public, hid treatments, or violated medical ethics. A 4-month congressional probe interviewed 14 Biden aides. Dr. O'Connor reportedly invoked the Fifth Amendment on every question about Biden's mental health. James Comer's report claims Dr. O'Connor ignored calls for cognitive testing after Biden's poor debate performance in June of 2024. Despite those concerns, Dr. O'Connor's February report described President Biden as healthy, active, and robust, and a July statement declared him mentally excellent. Are you kidding me? Mentally excellent? Now, after digging in, we found that Biden was not only having medical treatments that were being covered up, he was secretly meeting with a Parkinson's specialist, Dr. Kevin Kennard, as well as a neurologist, Dr. Tom Pitts, who said that he was visibly showing changes. A special counsel previously described Biden as a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. So I'll continue to keep you updated. Okay, here's the breaking news. U.S. House Oversight Committee has deemed all President Biden executive actions null and void, including all of his pardons, which were not done by President Biden, but rather the White House staff who, behind his back, used an Autopen. The committee demands an immediate investigation by AG Pam Bondi. Here's what it says. We are calling on the U.S. Department of Justice to conduct a thorough review of these executive actions and scrutinize key Biden aides who took the fifth to hide their participation in the cover-up. The D.C. Board of Medicine must also review the actions taken by President Biden's physician to hide his true condition. We have provided Americans with transparency about the Biden Autopen presidency, and now there must be accountability. So they are going to be pushing to have his executive orders unwound as well as his pardons unwound. Now, let me know in the comments, which of these pardons do you want to see unwound the most? I'm going to say Dr. Anthony Fauci, as well as, who else? Probably Adam Schiff. I think those are the two who have done the most damage to the country and damage to the death of many, many people. Now, Senator Rand Paul was on the Benny Johnson show, and he said that he has evidence that Dr. Fauci is connected to at least 18 million deaths. He will be forcing him to be subpoenaed and come in and present why this is not true. All right, now, are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck? What if you could build a real income stream from home without guessing or starting from scratch? I've partnered with a team that teaches everyday people how to make money from home using a simple, proven blueprint. Most wealth in America comes from business ownership, and this could be your shot to start one without all of the confusion. Now, join our free training tomorrow to learn how people are earning extra income and in some cases replacing their 9-to-5 job. It's awesome. Now, I'll be there too, bringing you opportunities to grow your money, not just the news. Register now with the link down below and tap into a home-based business that is a multi-billion-dollar industry with over 20 million regular buyers. I'll put that link down below. All right, former Democrat presidential candidate Andrew Yang says he's disgusted that Democrats are willing to watch Americans go hungry or riot for food instead of opening the government. Check this out. The shutdown is not helping Democrats at all. I did a poll on my channel where over 80% of you said that Democrats are the ones to blame for the shutdown. Well, listen to the new polling data. That is an absolute nightmare for Democrats going into the 2026 midterm elections. Check out this video on CNN.
Starting with Republicans, how has the shutdown seemed to have affected their political standing?
Yeah, you might think, given that the Republicans are in charge of both the House and the Senate, that a government shutdown might actually hurt the Republican brand. But in fact, it hasn't. If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown, despite the fact that Republicans control. And that's the math that John Thune and Mike Johnson are looking at is, well, hey, why should we give, and electorally speaking, when our brand has actually improved a little bit?
Now, we say their position is getting better. With whom?
Yeah, okay, with whom? So I think it's two groups that it's so important to keep an eye on. All right, change in the Republican Congress's net approval rating versus pre-shutdown. It's rallying the base for sure. Look at this, the net approval rating up 12 points versus pre-shutdown. But it's not just with the base. It's also with the middle of the electorate. Look at this, among independents. It's up 8 points as well. So we've got a situation here where Republicans with the shutdown are actually rallying their base, but it's also something that's not hurting them with the folks in the middle. If anything, it's helping them with folks in the middle. And this is the type of math that if you're Republicans, you like to see, right? Because something could rally the base but alienate those in the middle, or something could rally those in the middle but alienate the base. But the truth is, we're not seeing that. What we're seeing is the Republican brand has actually gotten better among independents, and it's also gotten better among Republicans as well, that Republican brand when it comes to those in Congress. So again, what's the electoral reason that Republicans would give in at this point?
And Democrats, of course, they have their eyes on the midterm elections. Yeah, we have elections 1 week from today, but what Democrats in Congress are mostly focused on are 1 year and 1 week from today from the midterm. So how are they positioned right now?
Yeah, so, I mean, look, the generic congressional ballot, which traditionally Democrats have done really well on, and if you look at this point back when Trump was president the first time around, Democrats are up 11 points. Look at where it is now. Democrats are ahead, but they're actually only up 3 points. This is, in fact, the worst position Democrats have been on in a generic ballot at this point in midterm when there was a Republican president in the last 20 years. And this is no different from pre-shutdown. So Republicans aren't losing on this metric either. They become more popular, and they're actually in a pretty good position for them historically when it comes to the generic congressional ballot.
This is a concerning number for Democrats, are you saying, Congress?
This is a concerning number for Democrats because it's considerably worse than they traditionally do in midterm elections when there's a Republican president.
Harry Etten, thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend.
Next, a sensitive and widely followed case in Utah, something that I've covered extensively. The young man accused in the tragic death of Charlie Kirk appeared virtually in court. Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old accused of assassinating and killing Charlie Kirk, has been charged with aggravated murder on September 10th from the rooftop of UVU. Now, prosecutors are seeking the death penalty, citing DNA evidence that directly links Tyler Robinson to the hate-fueled murder of Charlie Kirk. Judge Tony Graff said that he is going to allow Tyler Robinson to wear street clothes during the hearing to preserve the presumption of innocence. And he will also require that he is not in suicide costume or any kind of bulletproof while cameras are on him. The next hearing starts in January 16th and 30th. I'll go ahead and show you that clip now.
The court orders as follows. Defendant's motion to strike the sheriff's response is granted. Defendant's motion to appear in civilian clothing is granted. Defendant's motion to appear without restraints is denied. The standing decorum order will be amended to prohibit any visual recording or photography of the defendant's restraints or of the defendant entering or exiting the courtroom. This constitutes the order of the court, and a written order and ruling will be published shortly. Both defense and prosecution have stipulated to vacate the October 30th hearing. Additional time is needed to complete discovery and to file motions addressing whether non-evidentiary hearings should be conducted virtually, whether to impose any blanket restrictions on cameras in the courtroom, and any other motions that may arise. This matter is set.
All right. Now, in addition to this, Erica Kirk is preparing to sit down with Jesse Waters on November 5th to go through what's been going on in her life since her husband was tragically taken from us. I'll cover that when that happens. All right. Finally, turning overseas, President Trump met with Japan's first female prime minister, Sanae Takaichi, at Tokyo's Akasaka Palace. The two leaders celebrated the strong alliance between the United States and Japan. It was amazing. Now, guess what her first order of business was? To remove Muslims and illegal immigrants from Japan. She says that they do not mix with Japanese culture, and therefore Japan will be doing everything they can to remove them from the island. Now, Trump congratulated Takaichi on her leadership and praised her as highly respected, recalling the late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who was a friend to President Trump. Takaichi thanked Trump for his peace efforts in the Middle East and Asia, particularly helping ease tension between Thailand and Cambodia. As a symbol of friendship, Japan will donate 250 cherry blossom trees to the United States for the 250th anniversary of our country. Isn't that amazing? Now, listen to the kind words that President Trump had to say about our friends in Japan.
I have always had a great love of Japan and a great respect of Japan. And I will say that this will be a relationship that will be stronger than ever before. And I look forward to working with you. And on behalf of our country, I want to just let you know, anytime you have any question, any doubt, anything you want, any favors you need, anything I can do to help Japan, we will be there. We are an ally at the strongest level, and it's a great honor to be with you, especially so early in what will be, I think, one of the greatest prime ministers. I think you will be one of the great, everything I know, from Shinzo and others, you will be one of the great prime ministers. I'd also like to congratulate you on being the first woman prime minister. That's a big deal. That's a big deal, and I want to congratulate you on that. I think that has to be called out. And you're going to do a fantastic job, and we're going to have a fantastic relationship. Thank you very much.
The meeting followed a July trade deal setting 15% tariffs on Japanese goods and Japan's $550 billion investment pledge into the United States. Last year, U.S. exports to Japan totaled $80 billion, while imports reached $148 billion. Takaichi, a conservative ally of Abe, signaled even closer cooperation between the two countries, saying that they prefer to deal with the United States versus China's growing influence. Pretty cool. Now, building on top of that, Japan has now nominated President Trump for the next Nobel Peace Prize. Prime Minister Takaichi praised Trump's overwhelming commitment to peace, crediting him with brokering several 2025 peace deals, including Israel, Iran, India, Pakistan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, and others, saying that he is truly the president of peace. Now, the two leaders also signed new alliance agreements covering trade and rare earth minerals aimed at reducing dependence on China. Takachi joins other world leaders who have nominated Trump for his peace dealings. Trump says peacemaking is his new great strength and that he will be focused on ending the Pakistan-Afghanistan war as well as the Russia-Ukraine war. All right, that's my update for today. If you could, please give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, stay amazing, and I will see you on the next video. Oh yeah, don't forget, go watch the interview from earlier today. It was hard to get, and I want you to understand with 100% clarity why we are on the verge of war with Venezuela.